And it's true. We all come together because we love Beverly very much. And Beverly was a multifaceted individual. And I don't think any of us get to see all the facets. It's kind of like a gem that's carved by a master jeweler, and you can see one of the facets maybe, but that facet is made all the better because of all the other facets, and it reflects light all the more bright. And that, to me, was Beverly. She was crafted by a master jeweler, and the light she reflected was God's love. And she touched, I think, almost everybody here some way like that. I love Beverly very much, and I tell you, it was just in the past few years that we got close together, and I know that some of you have known Beverly for 30 and 40 years, and that's just another facet of her wonderful life. And I'm primarily familiar with the Rotary side, which was a dedication that she had that went so far beyond what most people are willing to give anything. She gave to Rotary. She gave it to Rotary because she loved Rotary. She loved the thing that Rotary stands for. When I was young, I remember a song that said, "They'll know we are Christians by our love." And I love that because people don't do good work. We know we're saved. We do good work because it's what we do. And Beverly was that kind of person. And among the organization of Rotary, I see that amongst y'all, Rotarians. And I see it among those who are not yet Rotarians. Yeah, I did say yet. That Beverly asked me to. Because she was a planner. And you know, she planned everything. She was very scripted. The hours she gave to the Zone Institute working through scripting for days-long events. I couldn't do it. Y'all know. Some of y'all know me real well. You know I can't do it. I'm like on the opposite end of that spectrum. And it was because of our differences that I think we became closer friends. Because early on, those differences put us opposed to each other occasionally. She said, "Bill, you're such a mess. I don't know how you're going to do anything good in our district." And she said, "Well, I'll help you any way I can." And I was grateful she was there to provide that kind of help. And we got to see the other side, and that sometimes it was a spontaneity that she didn't do on her own, but together we did so many wonderful, wonderful things. I can remember the Rotary convention we had in Toronto. The CN Tower? The CN Tower. The CN Tower was booked up. We couldn't get tickets. And she said, "I sure wish I could go do that." I'm like, "Well, if you wish you could do it, we should just go do it." She said, "No, you can't do it." I went and talked to a waiter that worked upstairs and said, "How do you get up there if it's all booked up?" He said, "There's a way." And he found us the way, and we went up to the CN Tower and had lunch with our Rotary friends. Owen Devlin was with us, and it was probably one of the happiest international conventions, not just because of all the Rotary work, but because of the socialization and the fun adventure we went on together. And Beverly always wanted a little bit more adventure. Once we got started with that, she's like, "You know, the other thing I'd never done and always wanted to do up in this area was go to Niagara Falls." I said, "Well, let's go." We got in the car, had to rent a car, had the car delivered because they'll do that for Enterprise. They delivered the car to the CN Tower. By the time we were done for lunch, we got in the car and we took off to Niagara. We saw Niagara with the lights, and then we ended up getting a reservation again, just luckily sitting outside watching the falls, and then the fireworks went off. And she's like, "Oh, Bill, you planned such a wonderful night. How did you know I loved fireworks and got us a table right next to the fireworks?" And I'm like, "I didn't." That was the little extra that the good Lord seemed to always put into our adventures. And I truly believe that she lived with a blessing from God always, and he guided her. Another adventure she wanted that we thought might not be possible was to go see the Rose Parade in Anaheim, California. We put out the word she wanted to go. At that time, she was in a wheelchair. It was going to take a lot of effort, but we're going to do it. We're going to find a way. And then everyone joined in. Our Rotary friends joined in to make it a wonderful adventure. LB and Donna Showalter. The Gillums were there, Dilworths were there. It was an adventure. And I'd said I would drive, but I had no idea it was going to be 18 people. But they did have a van that size, so I drove an 18-person van and got us around. And we put flowers on the float. And every rose, and you know Beverly, every rose is perfectly placed on that float that she placed. They gave me the job to break the stems because I couldn't place the roses as neatly in a row as everybody else. But I was a good stem breaker, and so we all find our jobs that we can do. And we had a wonderful event making the parade float. And then we had to be up at 5 a.m. the next morning, New Year's Day, for the parade, 5 a.m. But Beverly just wanted to squeeze a little bit more because she was a maximizer. She wants the most out of life. She wants to live 2 lives in one if possible. And she said, you know, it'd be sure fun to go to Disneyland while we're here, wouldn't it? So we went to Disneyland, and she had the 2020 mouse ears on her head. And we're taking pictures. And I'll tell you, I was there with my little girl, Larkin. Disneyland was fun. And we determined right then, the next time we go to Disneyland, we want somebody to sit in a wheelchair. Because they moved us to the front of every line. And that was that extra blessing you just didn't count on when you were doing something like that. And then we have beautiful pictures of the 2020 mouse ears and the fireworks going off in the background. And Beverly looked like she was at peace and happiness and excitement all at the same time. And yes, she was up at 5 a.m. to do that parade. And that parade is only 3.5 miles, but it's hard to walk it in duck feet. But she got to ride on the float because Rotarians helped out to make that possible. I've seen a lot of acts of love, and love demonstrated just the past 2 weeks with Beverly. People showed up. Most of y'all showed up. She planned things out. She got the life she wanted, and she got the end that she wanted to get to say hello to everybody. She wanted to make sure she met the next district governor, if you can believe this. And knowing these are final days, she wanted to do some Rotary work. She was sad that she couldn't serve on the governor's selection committee, but then she wanted to meet the governor. And Governor Regina Edwards stopped in the night before she passed away to say hello. And they had a conversation about their dreams for the organization and how we need to continue to love. Rotary does work internationally. They do a ton of work locally. But I think the most divine work that we as Rotarians do is for each other. And I see that support that y'all gave to Beverly, everyone here. But some of the biggest acts of love I've ever seen were from the Rotarians that came. We had Glenn and Debbie McCrary come, and Debbie did a manicure, which I know it sounds like a little thing, but that was so special to Beverly, having not been able to tend to things for several weeks. And as Rotarians do, one does more than the next, and sometimes Linda Elliott came, and she did the pedicure. And you talk about an act of love, that was like looking at something divine. As she took care of those nails and hid care, painted them just that pretty color Beverly liked, and then massaged her feet because the feet were swollen, they were hurting at that time. And then she came back every day to do foot massage. I mean, that is love, love, love. And Bill Dendy, not me, Bill Dendy, the other Bill Dendy, is he here? Bill Dendy came as Santa Claus between his Santa Claus gigs to bring her a special ornament and to talk about Rotary. But it was wonderful to see the love poured out, one person after another. And some of you all, as I said, aren't Rotarians yet, but look around. You'll know the Rotarians. You'll know them by their love. And it's been a real joy to be part of this family and this organization. And Beverly was the bling. She was the stars. She wanted everything wonderful. And so I love the family that she has. I loved meeting the family this week and last week and the week before. I loved visiting with the close family of Randall, her brother, Terica, who did so much work, and her namesake, Beverly Grogan, and Christian, and everyone came to be there. And that's what family does. Yet, Beverly had the extended family of the Rotary community and her city, and people who really love her, who come today to bear witness to the great life that she lived, as she really did feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and give through Rotary. And she is that bright star. And I can remember we're doing events, she would always say, more bling, more stars, more bling. It reminded me of the Saturday Night Live skit where they said, more cowbell, more cowbell. But we never overdid it because she knew just the right amount. And hopefully I did the right amount of talking here. I too tend to go over, and we could talk a whole lot longer, and I hope we will. I hope we'll spend more time celebrating this wonderful life of Beverly Grogan. Thank you very much.